Los Angeles County is using technology to make it easier to stay informed, get engaged, and let your voice be heard. Every Tuesday, the 5-member elected Board of Supervisors holds a board meeting to discuss issues, listen to the public, and vote on matters put before the board. Video and audio podcasts of every board meeting are now just a click away on iTunes and Google Play. Board meeting podcasts can be downloaded on most internet-connected devices, including PCs, smartphones, and tablets. Just search on Los Angeles County Board Meeting on Google Play to listen to an audio broadcast, or on iTunes to watch a video or audio podcast. Once you subscribe to the Los Angeles County Board Meeting podcast, your app will automatically download the latest weekly meetings when you're connected to Wi-Fi. To protect your cellular data, be sure to adjust your phone settings so that podcasts only download when you're connected to a Wi-Fi network. Since board meeting podcasts are anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, it's a good idea to delete old meetings or store them on your media cloud to free up storage space on your phone or computer. To see the agendas for upcoming Board of Supervisors meetings, visit our website. Stay informed. Let your voice be heard.
Froze there a little bit. That's the other word, froze. So good morning, what a lovely morning. We were totally fogged in Santa Monica this morning. Well, we need the rain, but I don't know. It keeps skipping, you know. Well, the fog doesn't do anything but make everything sort of wet and soggy, but not really make the ground much, you know. Yeah, I know. It was like that 2 weeks ago in our area, our valley. Yeah. I know the weather's been, what can we say? The weather's been quite unusual, as everyone seems to have noticed around the world. Finals. Yes. Hello, there's Holly. Hi, Holly Barger. Right. Where's our girl from Long Beach? She's usually quite on time. There she is. Hola. Okay. I think we're all here. Hola. Hola. We are ready to go, my friends. We want to wish everyone a good morning and welcome to our regularly scheduled meeting of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, which is being held remotely. Today is Tuesday, November the 30th, 2021. I will now take attendance of our board members and please respond when your name is called. Supervisor Mitchell. Good morning, present. Great. Supervisor Kuehl. Good morning, I'm also here. Yes. Supervisor Hahn. Here. Supervisor Barger. Here. DJ Davenport, Chief Executive Officer. Present. Rodrigo Castro Silva, County Council.
I'm here.
Celia Zavala, Executive Officer of the Board. Here. At this time, I would like to ask Supervisor Hahn to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Someday.
Thank you very much for that. And we have a matter of urgency before the board. Supervisor Hahn would like to read in. Supervisor Hahn, would you like to read in your urgency motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On November 26, 2021, a group of individuals entered a Home Depot in Lakewood and stole multiple hammers, crowbars, sledgehammers, and what appears to be the latest in a smash and grab crime wave that has swept California in the last few weeks. In these flash mob robberies, organized groups of individuals enter retail stores together, overwhelming security as they grab merchandise and flee. Last week, such groups descended on stores in the Grove, the Beverly Hills Center, and the Westfield Topanga Mall, terrifying shoppers and store employees and making off with thousands of dollars of merchandise. These robberies turned deadly in Northern California when a security guard for a television news crew was shot and killed by the smash and grab thieves that the news crew was covering. Many of these smash and grab robberies appear to be organized and well thought out, so they will require an equally organized response from law enforcement. As LA County residents head into the holiday season after nearly 2 years of living through the global pandemic, they deserve to feel safe shopping for their loved ones and going to work in retail, which is already a stressful work environment. The Los Angeles Police Department has announced that it will increase patrol and security in retail areas. Residents in our unincorporated areas and the cities that contract with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are also concerned about these thefts and would like to know what the Sheriff's Department is planning to do to address and prevent smash and grab crime. I therefore move that the Board of Supervisors make a finding pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2b2 that there is a need to take immediate action, and the need to take this action came to the attention of the Board of Supervisors subsequent to the posting of the agenda for today's meeting, and request that the Sheriff's Department present during this meeting, November 30th, 2021, its plan to address and prevent smash and grab crimes in unincorporated Los Angeles County and contract cities. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Hahn. I think this urgency motion is very timely and very appropriate. So if there are no discussion items from the board, any questions, then we will go ahead and move this item. Moved by Supervisor Hahn, seconded by Supervisor Barger. Madam Executive Officer, please call the roll to vote on the urgency to place this motion on today's agenda, which will be taken up later on with other items that will be held.
Supervisor Mitchell.
Aye. Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Kuehl.
Aye.
Supervisor Kuehl, aye. Supervisor Hahn.
Aye.
Supervisor Hahn, aye. Supervisor Barger.
Aye.
Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Solis.
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Members, next, as indicated on the posted agenda, we'll be taking telephonic public comments separately for regular agenda items and public hearing items during today's meeting. The Executive Office of the Board received over 300 written public comments for today's meeting, and as those written comments were received, all of them were made available to the supervisors for their consideration, consistent with the Brown Act requirements. We will continue to receive written public comments throughout the meeting, which will become part of the official record. Madam Executive Officer, please call the agenda.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Today's agenda will begin on page 2, Special District Agenda. This is the agenda for the Los Angeles County Development Authority. On item 1D, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be held. This item relates to item 12. On page 3, public hearing items 1 through 4. On item 1, the Director of Parks and Rec requests that this item be continued to December 21st, 2021, as indicated on the posted agenda. Also on item 3, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be continued 1 week to December 7th, 2021. The remaining items will be held for hearings. On page 5, Consent Calendar, Board of Supervisors items 5 through 21. On item 8, this includes a revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 9, Supervisor Solis requests that this item be held. On item 12, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be held. This item relates to item 1D. On item 17, Supervisor Barger would like to abstain from voting. On page 20, Administrative Matters, items 22 through 42. On items 22, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be continued 1 week to December 7, 2021. On items 28, 29, and 30, Supervisor Mitchell would like to abstain from the voting. On page 30, this includes miscellaneous additions to the agenda which were posted more than 72 hours in advance of the meeting as indicated on the supplemental agenda. Also on page 30, under item 41, items not on the posted agenda, a matter requiring immediate action because of an emergency situation or where the need to take immediate action came to the attention of the board subsequent to the posting of the agenda. On item 41A, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. The requests for continuances through 40D are before you.
Moved by myself, seconded by Supervisor Kuehl to approve these items with the exceptions noted by the executive officer. That will be the order.
On page 31, ordinance for introduction, items 43 through 45. On items 43, 44, and 45, Supervisor Mitchell would like to abstain from voting. On page 35, the items continued from previous meetings for further discussion and action by the board. On item A1, Supervisor Solis requests that this item be held. That completes the reading of the agenda, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will now take public comments for all agenda items, excluding public hearing items number 2 and 4. Madam Executive Officer, please read the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda and explain the speaking rules to those members of the public who are calling in to address the board.
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. To repeat, please call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. Do not call that number if you only want to listen to the meeting. To listen only, please call 877-873-8017 and follow the instructions. To members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state your name and which agenda items you wish to speak on. You will have 1 minute to speak on one agenda item or 2 minutes to speak on 2 or more agenda items. In addition, those who would like to address the board with general public comment will be provided 1 additional minute for a maximum total up to 3 minutes. We will allocate 90 minutes for public comment on all of the items excluding the public hearing items. We will continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the record. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell if you're speaking on an agenda item, you will get 1 warning from County Council or the Chair. If you do not immediately or clearly get on topic, or if you stray off topic again, you will forfeit the rest of your time and the Chair will move to the next speaker. Please note that if you're also listening to the board meeting on a computer or speakerphone, you will need to turn down the volume on those devices as soon as the moderator calls on you. If you do not turn down the volume, there will be an echo. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from the queue.
We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio, para dirigirse a la Junta, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 y luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y luego 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. May we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Lex Ryan. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi there. I would like to speak in favor of item 8 and in favor of item 22, please. So I think that, with item number 8, I would like to thank Supervisor Solis for putting forth this motion to commit to the decarceration of young women and girls who are currently incarcerated. And I think, this should also extend to everybody else. There's also trans men, gender nonconforming folks, intersex folks, and even cis men who are currently in LA juvenile facilities because Punishment doesn't work. All we are doing to these children is the same as we have always done to the generations before. We throw them away. Juvenile facilities and any kind of imprisonment only serves to further oppress and disenfranchise people. It takes them away from their families, and it takes them away from any chance of having a good life. And juvenile facilities essentially guarantee that any child or teenager will become an adult who also will probably end up in prison and continue in this cycle of punishment. We need people to be free. We need them to be able to make decisions and have agency in their lives, and we need to support them. On item number 22, I urge the board to maintain a hiring freeze for the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and for the board and CEO's office to look into the number of vacant positions in the Sheriff's Department, because there are nearly 700 vacant positions that are still budgeted for, but they remain unfilled. I think LA County needs to reallocate money away from the Sheriff's Department and start investing in community-based services, because we need to in order to provide real support to our communities. There's houselessness, poverty, addiction, mental illness, etc., that all of these funds could go to solving. We need to learn to trust each other, to give people a chance with real support. So much of our taxpayer money is going to police and the carceral system, and what we have seen again and again is that this does not work. Prison doesn't help us. Police do not help us. We waste our money on departments that are literally killing us, simply because it is what we have done for so long that it seems like there aren't other options. But the people of LA County are telling you what we need. We need that money, the money that is killing us and protecting the people killing us, to go to the services we really need. It seems to me the reason you all don't want to defund the police or the sheriff is because you are afraid. You're afraid because you see no other way. You're afraid of accountability. You're afraid of how hard it might be to implement.
Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Malinda Seonie. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, I'd like to speak in favor of items number 8, 22, and give general public comment. As it relates to item number 8, thank you so much, Supervisor Solis and co-author Supervisor Hahn, for starting this conversation and talking about the decarceration of girls and young women. Obviously, we support the decarceration of all children, but especially the 24 girls currently incarcerated in our county halls, being Central Juvenile Hall and Barry J., both of which have been recently deemed unsuitable by the Board of State and Community Corrections, both of which are the subject of significant litigation by the Attorney General's office. No young person should be incarcerated in either one of those facilities. Additionally, we're hopeful that every step that's related to the implementation of this motion is connected to Youth Justice Reimagined, right? I mean, secure track facilities that are home-like must be related to the actual needs of these young people and staffed by credible messengers. We're hoping that these transition MVTs that are supposed to be created by the public defender should instead become youth empowerment and support teams that were named in Youth Justice Reimagined. We're hoping that everything is connected to Youth Justice Reimagined, because that is where this county has committed to heading. Additionally, what seems to be missing from this motion is that we know nothing about the 35 young women who are actually currently incarcerated. And so in coming up with a plan in the abstract, we are essentially creating more labor without better outcomes. And so I think what we need to do is understand who these 35 young women are, because they are not a monolith, understand what their needs are, understand how we can best support them, because a long-term plan without community and without naming their needs is going to be more of the same. Finally, absolutely support item number 22 and looking at the sheriff's budget, and my hope is that we can do the same for probation, which also has a significant number of vacant positions. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Elan Geecie. Please state the regular agenda items you will be addressing today and whether you are addressing general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Elan Geecie. I'm a resident of District 5, and I'll be addressing on item numbers 8 and 22 and general public comment. And I'd like to start with item 22. A financial audit of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is way overdue. We've talked about this over and over again. The board's direction to LASD for a financial status report is an important step. However, there must be more thorough look into how the Sheriff's Department manages and allocates their $3.6 billion budget. I urge the board to maintain a hiring freeze on LASD and for the board and CEO's office to look into the number of vacant positions in LASD, these nearly 700 vacant positions that are still being budgeted for. However, they're remaining unfilled, and that's good. We don't want to fill them. We want to stop funding them rather than trying to fill these positions. Undoubtedly, the Sheriff's Department is the prime example of financial irresponsibility in LA County with a $3.6 billion budget, the largest for any LA County department. The LASD continues to request funding for its services. What this demonstrates is that the LASD does not properly manage their massive budget effectively. Either that or they're exceedingly corrupt and they're just trying to funnel money, which is my personal belief. The county must take this into consideration and refrain from allocating more county dollars into the hands of LASD. In fiscal year 2022, LA County plans to spend $6.4 billion on the law and justice offices, with over half of this, $3.4 billion, going solely to the Sheriff's Department. This is more than the county will spend on mental health at $3 billion, child and family services, $2.9 billion, public health, $1.4 billion, and fire, $1.3 billion, or many other important functions. This disparity is unacceptable. If we want a care-first LA County, we need to be moving these funds into schools, into mental health, into child and family services. And because this is LA and we do have a lot of fires, into the fire department. As for agenda item 8, I'd like to uplift all of the speakers who have been in before me. I agree with everything they've said. I commend Supervisor Solis for putting forth this motion to commit to the decarceration of young women and girls who are currently incarcerated in LA County juvenile facilities. And I would just like to add, I agree with the one caller, all children, but since this particular motion is dealing with women and girls, we'll stick with that for now. The cages are not how we are going to help these people. People don't heal in a cell. It's been said over and over, and I just want to uplift all of those previous comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Wendy Smith. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Smith. I'm representing the LA County Commission for Children and Families, specifically the Juvenile Justice Committee of the Commission. I'd like to speak on item number 8 and provide general public comment. Thank you, Supervisor Solis, for authoring, and Supervisor Hahn for co-authoring this important motion to decarcerate girls from the county's probation halls and camps. As your motion states, many of these young girls have experienced trauma in childhood, including abuse, trafficking, exposure to domestic violence. Often, they have experienced family disruption and foster care. Some of them are very young parents themselves. The kinds of services and supports that are available in the community are much more likely to help them heal and develop toward positive futures than carceral institutions. Returning to the community also allows young women to build networks of support that can carry them forward. The motion addresses a critical gender dimension in that incarceration often exposes vulnerable young people of every kind to additional victimization and trauma, but this is especially true for young girls. The relatively small number of girls currently incarcerated in our halls and camps, only about 10% of the overall population in these institutions, makes the return of these girls to supportive environments in the community an important opportunity for the county to truly demonstrate reimagine youth justice. The Commission for Children and Families fully supports this effort, and the partnership of youth with lived expertise, public safety and behavioral health entities, and community-based organizations to focus on well-being and development in place of incarceration. We are ready to be a partner in any way we can. Thank you again, Supervisors Solis and Hahn, for bringing this motion forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from queue. Our next participant is Hana Green. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Hana Green, and I am a program manager for the Ending Girls Incarceration program at the Vera Institute of Justice. And I'd like to speak on item number 8 and provide general public comment. First, I'd like to thank Supervisor Solis and co-author Supervisor Hahn for the motion to decarcerate girls from the county's probation camps and halls. Girls and gender-expansive youth of color, particularly Black, Latinx, and Indigenous young people, experience unique forms of marginalization and harm at the hands of the justice system. We're excited about this motion because we believe that LA is poised to be a leader in ending the incarceration of girls and gender-expansive youth in California. We know that this is possible. We're already seeing this happen in the places where we work, including in Santa Clara County. This year, Santa Clara reached a consistent average daily population of just 1 girl in juvenile hall. With the right voices at the table, including community leaders, directly impacted youth, and experts like the Young Women's Freedom Center, the county was able to have significant impact. We encourage the board to support this motion. We also encourage the county to consider some recommendations that could strengthen this work. First, the county should clearly commit to permanently ending the incarceration of girls within 2 years and publicly report on progress towards that outcome. Second, the county needs to back up any plans with action steps for relief and investments in community-based supports. We hope to see sizable investments in Righty Youth Plan for gender-responsive diversion, along with other community-led solutions, including flexible housing and economic supports that are urgently needed. Third, every step of the release and reform planning process must include direct collaboration with impacted youth and community-based organizations. The processes and solutions are actually addressing needs. And finally, the county should clearly include deliverables and recommendations about LGBT, TG, and C youth, who are overrepresented in girls' facilities and often overlooked in reform policies. And Vera stands ready to support LA in its efforts to decarcerate girls and gender-expansive youth, sharing lessons learned from our work in Santa Clara and other jurisdictions across the country. So thank you again for your consideration of this important motion.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Trinity Relaford. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, hello. My name is Trinity Relaford, and I will be addressing on general public comment. Good morning, everyone. I'm a youth organizer at the Young Women's Freedom Center. I'd like to speak on item 8. Here at Young Women's Freedom Center, we create economic and leadership opportunities through internships, employment, and engagement in advocacy and organizing. Together, we build our personal and collective power, heal from trauma, advocate on behalf of ourselves and each other, and gain access to education. Work to transform the conditions, systems, policies that lead to intergenerational cycles of violence, incarceration, and poverty. For over 27 years, Young Women's Freedom Center has helped build leadership and investments in women. I myself have personally experienced the injustice and trauma of being inside juvenile hall. Being a young woman degraded by staff and locked down 24/7 with no access to my family. Women are fragile. I was only 15 with no support. And today, this motion is very important that we stick together with the girls incarcerated. I'd like to thank Supervisor Solis for authoring and Supervisor Hahn for co-authoring the motion to decarcerate girls from county probation camps and halls. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Anthony Aceace. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Anthony Aceace with Dignity and Power Now, and I wanted to speak on agenda item 8. I think that there's some things that are missing in creating labor for communities, stakeholders, and county entities. We cannot assume these young women are a monolith. We know nothing about them, and to devise a plan to decarcerate them, to create a safe and secure healing center to support them, to ensure that they remain free requires knowing who they are. So while this motion names Youth Justice Reimagined in the preamble and calls on the Youth Justice Advisory Groups to create an inventory of sorts and a pilot plan for a safe and secure healing center, we want to see the work in people's community-based organizations like Young Women's Freedom Center and Anti-Recidivism Coalition be at the center of decarcerating our children. So let's do it differently this time and ensure that more work will not result in the same outcome. Thank you.
May I have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Eric Prevan. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, I will address on general public comment, and I'll talk about a number of the items. It's hard to number them, but I'll go through. Okay? So, first of all, nice work at calling an emergency to get the sheriff to report on the, what we do about the grab and go or whatever they're doing. It's a terrible set of crimes, and we do need to do something. The problem is I think we're also attacking the sheriff, who finally they published his budget report, and Davenport and the sheriff are getting along swimmingly, I think. I mean, he's managed to reduce his overtime costs. He's making progress on managing his fiscal operations. I do think he needs to see a psychiatrist about the testing. The Chinese are trying to intervene in the testing equipment that the entire county is using. But the numbers look okay. The problem is when you pressure him to give you more support in the shopping centers and in the unincorporated areas and the contract cities, he has to put people, on the line and get them out there. But you're also kind of holding him back because you won't let him bulk up on classes and hate his guts, which is coming across quite negatively to the public. I know that, everybody on your side is thrilled that you're attacking so regularly and routinely, but I think the regular folk are more concerned about the cash and grabs, or whatever they're called, the grab and goes. And the other one, I don't want to allow any of these holiday treats to go unrecognized, the porch pirates, because this is now going to pick up, and we're going to have, and it was nice that Supervisor Hahn was able to throw a bone to LAPD, who I guess she thinks are doing a good job. And it's nice to see Holly Mitchell abstaining on these oil franchise extensions as the rest of the country, led by Paul Krikorian, the great leader who's going to phase us out of fossil fuels once and for all over a period of 30 years or whatever. But nonetheless, it's a great time to influx some donors to support an endless initiative to do better. Also, A1, I don't think you should be calling it A1. Expedited contracting, let's talk about that. I wrote an article in citywatchla.com, you could see. I think it's intended to be a little bit funny, but it's important to move things out quickly, especially rescue response, the money. But Mr. Ridley Thomas ran into this conundrum. The faster we move does not necessarily enhance the scrutiny and public welfare and morals that are. So we do have to be extremely mindful. Now, I know you got your job order contracting program running at full tilt, but it really is a rotten set of coordinates. Up to $330,000 is what a person has to spend to get anybody to look closely. Bad. Very, very bad. They know how to break invoices into smaller than 330,000 supervisors. So we need to figure out a better way to hold these people accountable. Also, if you look at the last week or two when you had a job order contract, it's too busy.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Josie Nanda. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
All right, please begin. Please begin.
Hi, my name is Josie Nanda, and I'm the Associate Professor of Law at Golden Gate University and one of the leaders of the Girls Project, an informal group of researchers focused on decarceration of girls and gender-expansive youth, with an intersectional lens centering on the voices and lived experience of Black and Brown
Black and Brown youth. I also sit on the National Juvenile Justice Task Force as part of the American Bar Association. I'm here to thank Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Hahn publicly for co-authoring the motion to decarcerate girls from our county's probation camps and halls, because we know that incarceration does not make our communities or our children safer. As a professor of criminal law, I teach my students that the two primary stated theoretical reasons for incarceration are retribution, eye for an eye, or utilitarian, which includes deterrent, suggesting that incarceration stops children from committing future crimes, or that it actually rehabilitates them, which is actually the primary goal of the juvenile legal system. As everybody here knows, on all of these metrics, our current juvenile legal system fails. Thankfully, our Youth Justice Reimagined plan in Los Angeles sets the bar high to address this. But I'm here also to take a moment to thank Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Hahn for championing our often forgotten system-impacted girls for years. 3 years ago, in December 2018, they also co-sponsored a motion to improve conditions and release all pregnant girls from the halls based on a report I wrote with my then UCLA law students. And I want to thank Supervisor Kuehl for attending our Black Girls Matter hearing. May we have the next speaker, please?
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. But do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from queue. Our next participant is Neosha Farhanti. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Neosha Farhanti with the Fight for 15 in the Union campaign. As a prosecutor worker leader, Anisha on the call that will speak in support of item number 18. If it's possible, I'm going to attempt to add her to the call at the moment.
Please begin. Hi, can you please begin?
You're calling as soon as possible. And if nobody told you they love you today, I do.
Madam Chair, the line is disconnected.
Okay, may we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Genavive Gabrelle. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, this is Dr. Genevieve Gabrelle. I will address items 13 and 19. On item 13, it's great to give those trailer for other the mess. On item 19, I am really upset that you go to extend the not in public meeting of the board. Not only you are not allowing the people to participate at all the item of the board. You only allowed 90 minutes, and you use more outdated, simple technology to do that. The phone. You know, we are in Los Angeles when we are CPL, you know, and GPL and Caltech and all of that. At least you could use, you know, WebEx or Zoom or Microsoft, you know. That would be before just the telephone, you know. So at least change to that. And also thank you, Supervisor Hahn, for your emergency motion. I think it's really needed. Please reopen the board. You cannot forever hiding for the public. The public who elected you. Anyway, hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You can begin.
Yeah, items 1934 and A4, A7, general comment. 19, teleconferencing is a dynamic hybrid protocol, which must be a de facto standard for government public meetings in perpetuity. 34, Title II's Health and Safety Amendment, no urinals is a cancel culture gone too far. A4, regarding the homeless crisis, necessary actions. The county's homeless intervention teams have been in existence for 6 years, and I find it strange that now we are doing a Blue Ribbon Commission. And A7, the Supreme Court has saved us by the stay of the attempt by the Biden administration to ignore the 1.5 million illegals crossing and implemented President Trump's stay in Mexico. And the general public comment, Supervisor Hahn, I find you're perpetuating the shameless, degrading, blighting, and ghettoizing of the community of Rowland Heights, and its a shopping center at the Fairway and Stater Brothers, by allowing a homeless camper to stay there in excess of 8 months. I find it simply reprehensible. The videos are on my YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button. A special note, you could have built $1 million homeless campsite at Kalima Nursery in Rowland Heights instead of $1 million dog park. And as to other commenters in the meeting today, we want money this, we want to do that. Hey, it's called Show Me the Money situation. They failed Pyology 101, and we're on the robbing Peter to pay Paul syndrome as we circle the third world toilet. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Daniele Archero. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello. My name is Danielle. I'm a resident of District 4, and I'd like to speak to agenda items 8 and 22. I'm in favor of agenda item 8, the decarceration of girls and young women. I'm grateful that Supervisor Solis supports the motion. As stated in the motion, women and girls in our criminal legal system are so often the victims of domestic violence, which leads to trauma that's better treated outside of the carceral system. Of course, that's the case for many people, not only girls and women, but this is a good start. So I urge the board to stick to the timeline for the motion that the motion sets forth, and or expedite the process for decarcerating 35 remaining young girls and women. Additionally, I urge the board to fully fund Youth Justice Reimagine, as there needs to be care involved in this. I'm also in favor of item 22, the report on financial status for the Sheriff's Department. The department's budget is $3.6 billion, and so the LASD is long overdue for financial audit. It's the largest budget of all the county departments, and LASD keeps requesting more funding, and I think this demonstrates mismanagement of funds. I also urge the board to maintain the hiring freeze for LASD. And you have my time. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Anny Williams. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, you may begin.
Okay. Hi. Wait, be quiet, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm dropping kids off at daycare. I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Anisha Williams, and I'm a Jack in the Box worker and a leader for the site for 15 in the union. And I'm calling today to express the support for agenda item 18, a motion which will criticize, centralize, and expand workers' protection in Los Angeles County. And I wanted to thank Supervisor Cool and Mitchell for introducing the motion on my behalf, on behalf of low-wages workers in our country, in our community. I have worked in the fast food industry for 10 years and a frontline fast food worker, and I am expressing firsthand on how the low wages and dangerous workers conditions that have came to characterize this industry. 80% of the fast food workers experience some type of wage theft, like being forced to work off the clock and being denied overtime, pay, and meal breaks. Three-thirds of fast food workers in both Los Angeles County and the state of California has had family members enrolled in the Safety Net program. Just 1 in 3 fast food workers receive health benefits from their employers. Women experience high rates of sexual harassment in fast food nationwide. 40% of the women in the industry reported this experience. This is why a new Office of Labor Equal is so important. We need a decision team to work to figure out how to make sure the rules set by the client in our country, in our state, are being followed by the many employees of Los Angeles. And I will need this new office to prioritize workers' input and listen to the workers' voice. When they...
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Alexia Sina. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Alexia Sina, and I'm a youth advocate and community organizer with the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. I'm here to speak in support of agenda item number 8. The Anti-Recidivism Coalition absolutely supports the decarceration of all children, including girls and young women. It is time we move away from ineffective and inequitable practices for improving youth well-being and community. As a young woman who was previously incarcerated, I firsthand know that the young women are often left out of these types of conversations, and these young women are often victims and survivors of abuse. I hope that the implementation process is a transparent one and one that is aligned with the overall Youth Justice Reimagined values. With the proper steps, a home-like option for young women supporting their needs rather than a facility adding to their trauma will transform these youth for their families and themselves, keeping public safety at the forefront. Please don't forget about these young women. I urge you to move this motion forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from queue.
We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Para dirigirse a la Junta, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y luego 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Monique Nguyen. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Please begin. Hi, your line is open. You may begin. May we have the next speaker, please?
Hello?
Oh, yes. Please begin.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood the last name. You said Monique Nguyen. Because I'm assuming it was Monique Bingham.
Okay. Thank you. We'll make a note of that. You may begin your testimony.
Okay. I'm basically here because I support item 8. And I just wanted to stress that, I'm in favor of it. And the decarceration of girls and young women addressing in Los Angeles County care. I'm sorry, I'm under the weather, so that was all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Sophie Crystal. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Sophia Crystal, and I'm a youth advocate with the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. I'm here today to speak in support of item number 8. As a woman who was incarcerated at the young age of 14 and who spent 10 years inside, I know firsthand how important it is to end incarceration for our young women. The trauma and fear that comes with being trapped inside the system as a young girl can be stopped. As long as we take the necessary steps to building a safe place for our youth that no longer involves incarceration, and we use the correct info and data we are provided with, it can happen. Providing a report with truthful, correct, and helpful information and strong data can only assist us in making the decarceration of our youth a reality. We have to make sure our young women are provided with safe settings and effective resources while waiting to return home and when returning home. Being a young woman re-entering society after 10 years was scary and hard when I feared not having anywhere to go or lacking resources to help me in my journey. I connected with RSB, who strongly still support me in my journey and therefore are always in support of any plan that is centered around assisting those coming home from incarceration, especially our youth. We need to make sure other young girls are relieved of those hardships, and we can. Although I'm glad this motion exists, I'm a little sad and disappointed that any action in support of our young women is barely taking place. We can't forget about the young women, but instead make sure we support them. I hope this implementation process is truthful and transparent and aligns with Youth Justice Reimagined principles and values, and I urge the board to move forward with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. AT&T moderator, can you please hold on the speakers?
Certainly.
Thank you. Members, colleagues, I want to apologize for this interruption, but prior to the close of public comment, I must move that the Board of Supervisors make a finding pursuant to Government Code Section 5494.2E2 that there is a need to take immediate action, and the need to take this action came to the attention of the Board of Supervisors subsequent to the posting of the agenda for today's meeting, and placed on the agenda a closed session case for consideration. Conference with legal counsel, significant exposure to litigation, one case pursuant to the Government Code Section 54956.9D2. Moved by Supervisor Barker, seconded by myself. Madam Executive Officer, please call the roll to vote on the urgency to place this item on today's agenda, which will be taken up at the end of the meeting during closed session.
Supervisor Mitchell.
Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Kuehl. Supervisor Kuehl. Supervisor Hahn.
Aye.
Supervisor Hahn, aye. Supervisor Barger.
Aye.
Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Solis.
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Motion carries. Let's return back then, Madam Executive Officer, for the rest of the public comment.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Geniv Scheider. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Gwen Snyder. I'll be addressing item 8 in favor and item 22 in favor and general public comment.
You may begin. Thank you.
For item 8, I want to commend Supervisor Solis for putting forth this motion to commit to the decarceration of young women and girls who are currently incarcerated in LA County juvenile facilities. As the motion states, young women and girls who are subjected to the criminal legal system are often survivors of domestic violence and suffer from severe trauma that is better addressed outside of carceral facilities. I also want to uplift all the young women who have talked earlier today about their time in incarceration and the importance of decarcerating and protecting these 35 young women and girls. I urge the board to stick to the timeline set forth in the motion and or expedite the process for the decarceration of the 35 remaining young women and girls inside of youth facilities. A thorough decarceration policy also invests in communities. I urge the board to fully fund Youth Justice Reimagined and redirect funding away from probation department and LSD into supporting youth. I want to talk about item 22 and say a financial audit of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is way overdue. The board's direction to LSD for financial status report is an important step. However, there must be a more thorough look into how the Sheriff's Department manages and allocates their $3.6 billion budget. I urge the board to maintain a hiring freeze for LASD and for the board and CEO's office to look into the number of vacant positions in LASD. These nearly 700 vacant positions are still budgeted for. However, they remain unfilled. Rather than trying to fill these positions, the board and CEO's office should redirect LASD to remove these positions from the budget allocations
and give that money to offices like LA Mental Health, the Fire Department, LA Public Parks, Children and Family Services, and Public Health. Undoubtedly, the Sheriff's Department is the prime example of financial irresponsibility in LA County, with a $3.6 billion budget, the largest for LA County departments. The LAC continues to request funding for its services. What this demonstrates is that the LAC does not properly manage their massive budget effectively. They manage it corruptly. The county must take this into consideration and refrain from allocating more county dollars into the hands of LASD. Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Joy Oree. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address some general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Joy Oree, and I'm a resident of District 5. Today, I'm addressing agenda item number 32 and general public comment. I'd like to tell you that our family supports the county moving forward to submit the fiscal year 22-23 Juvenile Justice Realignment Block Grant Plan to the state of California. However, we remain opposed to placing a SYTF in Santa Clarita within 600 feet of families. There are more suitable locations available within the county, closer to the service providers that work with the probation department, closer for visitation of family and friends, and closer to educational and vocational opportunities, and also remote from family neighborhoods. The Santa Clarita community has remained consistent in submitting opposition to the repurposing of Camp Scott and Scudder in Santa Clarita since becoming aware of the county's intent through social media in mid-June of this year. Continued opposition remains justified based on flood and fire hazards. It's not safe. To provide a successful rehab program, long locational distances for criteria, the lack of emergency medical services, and lack of remoteness to nearby family homes is not a fit. We urge you to determine a permanent location to best serve the needs for the rehabilitative efforts of the serious offenders and their families and those of existing and planned communities. We also acknowledge the work of the Juvenile Justice Realignment Block Grant Subcommittee with this great undertaking that they are moving forward with. Thank you for your time today. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you.
To address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from queue. Our next participant is Wendy Julian. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address a general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Julian. I'm the Executive Director of the County's Probation Oversight Commission. I'd like to speak on item number 8 and provide general public comment. Supervisor Solis, thank you for authoring, and Supervisor Hahn for co-authoring this motion to decarcerate girls from probation's camps and halls. There's a remarkably low number of girls in the halls and camps right now, making this a perfect time to make a bold statement and take this important, achievable step toward acting on our that believes in rehabilitation, healing, and care for young people, and is supporting this board's goal of maintaining the low census of youth in the halls and camps and furthering the goals of Reimagined. So why girls? Well, the easy answer is it's a great step towards our collective goals, and there are more steps to come that should involve decarceration of all young people, especially boys and youth with other SOGI statuses beyond the binary who are disproportionately impacted by the justice system. But starting with girls acknowledges their specific needs, and they're already separated into their own units by probation. Statistics show that incarcerated girls have comparatively higher rates of serious mental health diagnoses and a crossover with child welfare. Many are victims of commercial sexual exploitation and have experienced abuse and neglect as children and teens. Many are also parents whose children need them. The staff and commissioners of Probation Oversight Commission are humbled and excited to be part of this motion. We've had the opportunity to meet many of the girls who are incarcerated and believe an individualized approach is the best way to address successfully reintegrating them into their communities. We're also looking forward to working with Deputy Chief Karen Fletcher of Probation, who has experience implementing similar initiatives in both Santa Clara and San Francisco counties. Thank you again, Supervisor Solis and Hahn, and to all of you for championing this issue and moving our county toward the goals of probation reform and youth justice reimagined. I'm excited for the future of girls in our county with your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Victoria Garcia. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi there. I am calling in favor of Motion 8 to decarcerate girls and young women in LA County. I first want to thank Supervisors Solis and Hahn. I am a resident of Solis' district, and I speak on behalf of my loved ones and family members who that are young women that are experiencing incarceration in the East LA area. I also am representing the Young Women's Freedom Center that has done amazing programs in Santa Clara County, where young women and participants who engage in their programs are 85% more likely to not recidivate. And they focus on self-determination, they focus on leadership and personal development, community-based solutions to incarceration that have proven to strengthen young girls' personas and character. There's a lot of rhetoric about LA County being a leader in decarcerating girls, but I think it's really just about putting our practice where our heart is and treating young girls with the respect and dignity that they deserve. This is a start, but definitely not the end, to prevent the use of the carceral system as a means of addressing punishment and harm in our communities. So I thank our board for putting this on the agenda, and I hope that it shall move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Richard Aventisian. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Supervisor. I will be addressing item number 20, the tax rescission for a property purchased last October of 2020. My name is Richard Aventisian. I'm an attorney. I represent the purchaser of the property. My client is a bona fide purchaser of the sale. He essentially followed every single rule that county subscribed, and he's about to lose this property based on the officer recommendation, which essentially, if the county goes with the officer's recommendation, county is admitting that the county did not follow its own rules, essentially. He has spent another additional $40,000 preparing the property for development. We tend to seek reimbursement of all those fees and any potential unrealized profits. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Kent Sosa. Please state the regular agenda items you will be addressing today and whether you will be addressing general public comment. You may begin.
Ken Sosa, please begin. Ken Sosa? May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Angelic Evans. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angelic Evans, lead organizer with the Young Women Freedom Center. This morning I will be addressing item number 8. We are definitely in support of this. However, want to censor the leadership of directly impacted youth and reform and ensure that Young Women Freedom Center and all the others amazing folks that are doing this work are at the table in diversion and release planning for young people. As was the case in Santa Clara, where reform was extremely successful. Again, want to thank Supervisor Solis and co-author Hahn for authoring this. This is definitely a start. And thank you. I will hold my time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Michelle Johnson. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. My name is Pastor Michelle Johnson. I am with Moving Mountains by Illumination. I'd like to speak on item number 8 and provide general public comment. I'd like to thank Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Hahn, along with Supervisor Mitchell, for sitting down and listening to the needs of our community from the Urban Peace Institute. I've been doing this work in the gender-specific programming for about 20 years. I want to say this is a great day to be able to have this discussion, to be able to move this ball forward with the de-incarceration of young girls. It is much needed. We have girls still waiting in camp because they cannot go home because of issues in the home. And so, again, it is needed. The services are needed. We need to put more money into working with gender-specific programming for females. And I'm just excited. I'm excited most definitely for all the work, all the agencies that are doing this work on the front line, because there truly is a war against our girls, and our girls are dying in these streets as we speak. And so I just want to thank you for being on board and listening to us today. And I yield my time.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Linda Gomez. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please begin.
Okay, awesome. My name is Linda Gomez Evans, and I will be speaking on agenda item number 8. I'm a constituent of CD8 and a proud supporter of Young Women's Freedom Center. And yes, I absolutely support the decarceration of all children, including girls and young women. I myself was incarcerated as a youth and found no support in rehabilitation. I found support in community-based organizations that helped support me in transitioning back into society. You cannot get well in a cell. We love a date by which this motion goes from list and report back to outcomes with releases, success, and support rooted in community, and community-based organizations and community-based solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not done so already, please press 1 and then 0 at this time, but do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from queue. Our next participant is Olka Kenali. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, Olga Kanali, your line is open. Please begin.
Hello?
Hello? We can hear you. Please begin. Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, it's just I didn't recognize the name because my name is Oscar Canales. Hi, my name is Oscar Canales. I am a youth advocate with the Anti-Racism Coalition. I will be speaking on item number 1 and item number 8. Item number 1, I would like to ask you to reconsider the exemption of CEQA for the transfer of land that includes 8.8 acres of wetlands for increasingly rare kind of property, and the wildlife that depend on them are growing increasingly. There should be every effort to make void impact on wetlands and their species, and therefore a few CEQA review should be conducted. I ask that this item be pulled and further information be shared with the public. When I looked at the agenda as of today for this agenda item, I would love for this to be pulled and have more input from the community, because we cannot have sacred land be destroyed and dismantled. One of the things on the item is saying that it is used for the county purposes. That's what it's being destroyed for. On number item 8, I'm in favor. I strongly agree that our young women deserve better treatment. Currently, girls that are experiencing mental health, it was even by probation, it was said that they're currently in conditions that not only affect their mental health, but it is not settings that are therapeutic or in any way help them rehabilitate themselves. On the contrary, there has been findings, and I ask the board to please look into this, but not ignore the testimony from the public, but also look into these findings that the conditions where these young women are being held are not livable. Most of the rooms do not work, and this is something that should be very looked into, and I really appreciate the board for bringing this item up. And Thank you. I use my time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Giana Pittman. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Giana Pittman, and I'm a member of District 2, and I'm calling in today in support of item 8 with the general public comment. I'm a youth organizer with the Young Women's Freedom Center here in LA, and I strongly urge the board to continue the trend to decarcerate girls and young women. The pandemic has really highlighted the fact that the most marginalized people in our communities need support and services rather than criminalization. Girls and young women deserve community-based alternatives like housing, food, mental health, healthcare, and schools. We need care, not cages. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers in the queue to address the board.
Thank you very much. To ensure that we allow the full 90 minutes for public comment, the call-in line will remain open until 11 a.m., and we'll take any other callers that come in by that time. Thank you for your patience. Please stand by.
moderator. May we have the first caller, please?
Thank you. There you go. Our next participant is Kent Mendoza. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please begin.
Sorry, but I think you had come early, but I think you have pronounced me as Sosa, Ken Sosa. My name is Ken Mendoza. I'm with the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, Manager of Advocacy and Community Organizing, and I just keep it brief and simple. I'm here to support agenda item number 8, incarceration of young girls and young women. As a person that actually spent time incarcerated as a young individual from the age of 15 to the age of 20, and I was incarcerated in some of the places that also girls are incarcerated in. So I just think that's not right. That girls in general are often left off the conversations, or we forget about them. The county has forgotten about them. It's a little bit. We've been taking too long to even get to do this. I think we should have done this. Since a long time. But other than that, just really urging the board to pass this motion forward. Really gotta make sure that we continue to do more for this population of young women who, like I said, are often left out in conversation. So let's do better and let's really serve the young women that deserve better in this county. Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Marisela Tochere. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Marissa Gonzales Kuchek, and I'm the Cultural Arts Coordinator for the City of Southgate. Thank you for allowing me to speak in support of agenda item number 40B regarding the Stella Cultural Center project development. I would like to express my support of this project, which will be crucial in contributing to and amplifying the cultural vitality of this region. Art spaces and resources are in dire need in this area, and this project would be a huge asset to the community. We've successfully worked with the RMC over the last 2 years that I've been in my role with the city and support their guidance on this project. Thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers in the queue to address the board.
Thank you. Members will continue to keep the line open until 11 a.m. Thank you.
And effect, which is often outside of their control. Incarceration is not the answer and will not support students in learning healthy coping strategies and appropriate behavior. In fact, incarceration puts young people at risk and deprives them of their dignity. I am heartened by Supervisor Solis's motion to end incarceration of all girls, and I urge you to consider ending incarceration of all young people. Please ensure that implementation of this motion will be rooted in the principles of Youth Justice Reimagined, and be sure to center young people and their families as we work towards decarceration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers in queue.
Thank you. We still have one more minute. Have one more speaker. Let's allow
AT&T moderator, may we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is James Gallo. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address general public comment. You may begin.
I'm addressing item 20.
Thank you. You may begin.
Thank you. Good morning, Supervisors. My name is James Gallo. I am the attorney for Malinda Seonie and the East Middle Code. They are the petitioners in the decision of the back sale. Sharon Ryzak, the hearing officer, ruled that the rescission should take place based upon the fact that there was insufficient and incorrect notice of the tax payment. The law abhors a forfeiture, and for the taxpayer to lose this property would certainly be a forfeiture. As the hearing officer specified, notice was not sent to the correct place, and even though the tax collector had 6 weeks to correct that, it did not. It is only fair to uphold the hearing officer's decision. Otherwise, this one lot in a group of 8 is virtually undeveloped. It's on an impassable street that's about 10 feet wide. It's on a very steep hillside. To allow the project to go forward with
Excuse me, sir, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Madam Chair, there are no further speakers in the queue to address the board.
Thank you very much. Our time for public speakers, as you know, has ended. We want to thank everyone who called in to speak. If you were unable to provide your comments, you can